All right. I think we are good to go here. Make sure this thing loads up and is streaming as it should be. Yep, should be good. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you guys for joining me on this live stream for a little Q&A and get to pick a winner for some floor mats. Big thank you to 3D Mats USA for partnering with me for the floor mats giveaway. Obviously, without them, I wouldn't be able to do the giveaway. So big thank you to them. But before we get to picking the winner, let's do, like I said, a little Q&A. So we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. It's been a while since I've done a Q&A, but I'm open to talk about anything, whatever you guys want. Hey guys in the chat from Greece. It's a long way away. Also an EV6 all-wheel drive owner. EV6 is a very underrated car, I have to say, especially for the money. I think it doesn't get the love that it deserves. Just all the features it has and its performance and functionality and everything. It's a great vehicle. Yep, love my EV6 too. I'm actually coming up. What's today? The 31st of March. Less than a month away from having my EV6 GT for a year now, which is crazy because I had my previous EV6 for 2 years before that. So been in an EV6 for a while, but definitely love having the car. And the GT is a blast. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Good to talk about whatever you guys want. Yeah, the seats in the EV6 GT. So, I like the style a lot. I think they're really comfortable. I do wish they were powered, and I do wish they were ventilated. Both of those things, though, it's my understanding, are fixed with the new 2025. Actually, not 100% sure if it's ventilated, but it is at least powered. So that'd be a plus. Did I have any noises from the top vents? After some months of running a car ownership, some clogging sounds. Oh, some loud sounds coming from the driver and passenger. Hmm. I have not had any kind of noises like that you're referring to. I definitely would take that to the dealership. It sounds like something might be coming loose or something there with the suspension potentially. I don't know. Huh, when are we going to be able to charge a Tesla superchargers with an EV6? So I actually emailed Kia today because I know they had said January for Tesla Supercharger access. Then they had pushed it to Q1 2025. And today is the last day of Q1. So I sent them something today and I got a response back saying this is the press release. And all it was an old press release that doesn't give any information. So the most up to date information I have is I saw something that said like April 7th as the date, but who knows? Honestly, who knows? They keep pushing it back. And even right now, EV9s have access, but they're not technically supposed to have access, I don't think. So I don't know. I have not seen any facelifted EV6s yet in person. I've seen videos, of course, and pictures, and it is growing on me, but I haven't seen it in person. I do have a theory, which I think is accurate. If you guys look at inventory for the EV6 and the EV9, pretty much across the entire United States, at least, it's almost non-existent. Both the EV9 and the EV6. I live in Northern Virginia, and within 100 miles of me, which is millions of people population-wise, there's only 15 EV6s and EV9s. And that's it. So my theory is that they are clearing out all of the 2024 EV6s, clearing out all the EV9s that don't have the new NACS port, and then they'll go ahead and roll both of those out. So I anticipate that we're going to see the EV9 with the NACS port pretty soon. I've actually talked to some people who have confirmed that. And then again, the EV6, the refreshed model, we'll see that pretty soon too. So manual precondition, I don't if I'd say maybe a year ago, I was optimistic that we would get it. But with how poor their updates have been from Kia, I don't think we're going to get preconditioning, to be honest. It would be nice. The GT has a button to warm the battery for higher performance, but that only works above 70% state of charge. And honestly, I don't see Kia or Hyundai, whoever ultimately is the one that would be doing the coding. I don't see them devoting the time to code that in there and add it to our infotainment systems for the pre refresh generation, unfortunately. So I was optimistic before, but they just have been so slow with updates, and the updates that have come have had such few little changes that they're not meaningful at all, and it's really kind of turned me off from their software, to be honest. I have seen some interesting things with CCNC and with a new platform that's going to be coming out, which I don't know if you guys saw that, but in a couple of years, they're going to be going away from the CCNC platform and going to a platform based on Android that looks a lot more like what you expect to see in a Tesla or Rivian, that type of thing. So um, that'd be interesting to see, but I don't see the current gen getting that much love. Yeah, I like the front end of the current EV6 more than the facelift EV6, but I do think that the facelift is going to have better headlights. Nope, no good reason as to why heated seats can't be activated remotely. They just haven't coded it. There's no reason at all. They have heated steering wheel that can be activated remotely. There's no reason the seats can't be activated remotely. Oh, good. I'm glad that the tapping sound that helped you out. I know that's helped out a lot of people. It was so annoying. It's interesting too. My 2022 EV6 had the tapping sound. My EV6 GT doesn't have a tapping sound at all. It's very weird. I was expecting to have that and have that be something I needed to address, and it hasn't come up. By the way, can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm using a different webcam, one that I reviewed, the eMeet webcam, and it has a built-in microphone, but I'm not 100% sure that the volume is set that great. So let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay. Good. I'm glad. What else you guys want to talk about? Good. I'm glad to hear that. I like this webcam, by the way. If anybody's looking at webcams, this is the eMeet S800. And when I did the testing and did a recording based off of it, the audio quality seemed good. The picture quality was solid. I actually, this should be outputting in 1080p, but this can do 4K. I'm actually reducing the quality for the live stream here. So there is a way to retrofit the headlights from overseas into the USA ones. It's somewhat complicated. There's a thread on the Kia EV forums with a guy that has done it, and I think he actually sells some parts that make it a little bit more plug and play. But it is definitely possible. How many real kilometers with my EV6? 385 in town. Highway maximum 300. So kilometers, I don't know um, offhand. I would say I don't know the conversion offhand, but I would say miles wise, I average around in the winter when it was really cold, I would average maybe around 180 miles. And that was with like conditioning the cabin every day and that type of thing. With driving during like spring and summer and fall, I average around 220 to 240 miles, is what it says. So multiplied times 1.6. Can't really do that in my head, but that probably, I mean, that's solidly over 300 kilometers. Um, Overseas headlights look way better. Yeah, I agree. And their projector. I mean, they're by projectors, which the U.S. for some reason they just went with reflector headlights, and I have no idea why. Yeah, that's good. Me. By the way, what do you guys think of the new setup here? I finally painted this wall, so now I don't have an unfinished wall when I do my reviews and have that in the background. I just got the black wall. I think it works out pretty good. Having that there looks better than it did at least. Yep, I have a lot of things coming too. By the way, a lot of a lot of reviews coming. Got another EV charger review I'm about to put out. Got a couple of robot lawnmowers, all kinds of stuff. Just wish I had more time to devote to it. What else you guys want to talk about? EV3. Um, so the EV3 I like. Um, it's a little tiny, but I like it. I definitely like it more than the Nero. I actually had a 2020 Nero. I don't know if you guys know that. I had a 2020 Nero EV before my first EV6, and I like the car a lot. But I like the EV3, just the overall design. I think it's more spacious than a Nero, if I recall correctly. More of a mini SUV as opposed to like such a low car like the Nero is. Um, but I don't have much experience looking into the EV3 to be honest. I was going to do an e-bike. That company ended up backing out, I think. Trying to remember. Um, there's been a couple of companies. Honestly, when you do what I do, you have so many companies reaching out, and I'd say maybe 80% of them are legit, where they actually want to work with you, and then there's another 20% that they aren't the most legit. If that makes sense. So maybe one day I'll get an e-bike to review. Do I think you should put in a third party 12-volt battery as a precaution? There's a lot of debates about whether or not you should change the battery or not. I personally, if I were to go do it right now, um, if money is no object, I would get no me battery, which I've recommended to a lot of people. If you want to get a more inexpensive option, I would get an AGM battery. I know Costco has them for I think in the high like 180s or so price range. Walmart has some around that price. And an AGM battery would be an upgrade over the factory lead acid battery. Um, Either way you go, ultimately it's a band aid on the solution. If you're going to have 12-volt battery issues, you're going to have them. But uh, for example, for the OMU, it has such a high depth of discharge where it can discharge literally from 100% all the way down, basically, and not kill the battery, unlike a lead acid battery or an AGM. Um, that makes it, in my opinion, a better option because if something does happen, if something does run the battery down, I know there have been issues with apps that have run people's batteries down because it keeps pinging the Kia Connect. Um, if it does happen, at least you know you can jumpstart the car with the LifePo 4 battery. Um, so that's a plus. But either way, I mean, unfortunately, I was optimistic with the ICCU issues because I hadn't seen that many people have them for a few months, I'd say. But then here recently, it seems like every day is somebody saying, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn. Now I have an ICCU issue. It's not good. So, will I be trading in my current GT for the new GT? Honestly, I don't know. I like the new GT. I think it might be an option. Well, so I will take that back. I'm not trading my car in for anything. So I'm leasing my car. I'm not going to trade it in because I put on a video on leasing. But with leases nowadays for EVs, especially Kia EVs, they give a really high residual in the calculation, which makes leasing really affordable for them. But um, like right now, if I were to trade in my EV6 GT, I'd probably owe. maybe 20,000 more than a dealership would actually give me for trade-in, because of the lease payoff and how the lease is structured and all that. So I definitely will not be trading it in. How much am I leasing it? So I did a video when I got my EV6 GT. I got it for a few $1,000s off MSRP. There was like $12,000 in incentives, and then I rolled over a decent amount of negative equity. But I with my first EV6, they gave me a really good trade-in amount. I don't remember exactly what the amount is, um, but yeah, I mean it was a decent thing. But yeah, I'm not gonna trade in my car. But once this lease is over, I have been looking at different options that are out there. I don't know if a Rivian R2 will be available at that point. My wife isn't a fan of Rivians, so that's probably not going to be what it is. I do like the EV6 GT. I like it more than the Ioniq 5. Um, I'm curious to see what other options will be out there though, at that time, because I'm still a year away. So I like the Lucid Gravity a lot. There's also, I mean, I know a lot of people aren't fans of Teslas, but I've always been a really big fan of the Model S Plaid, and I mean, you can get a Model S Plaid now that's only a couple years old with low miles for like 45, and for the performance, that's crazy. Like I've always been a guy been into performance cars, and to have a car with all the tech that the Model S Plaid has and have it run low nines in the quarter, like that's crazy. And having it be only $45,000 in a year, it'd be even less than that, I'm sure. So who knows? I'll see where I'm at in a year. How much is my monthly payment? Right now, I'm paying right around 1,000 because I rolled over a lot of negative equity from my first EV6, and I just did a 24-month lease. So um, a lot of negative equity only split over 24 months means higher higher monthly payment. So, but my reasoning for doing it was because of all the incentives, the amount that I was getting for trade. Um, it meant that after the 2 years for the lease, I would no longer be upside down. And I was somebody that purchased my first EV6 when it was like the height of everything. So people were spending many thousands over MSRP. I ended up spending, um, I think I spent my first EV6 $2,000 over MSRP, but then I got a ton for trade in when I traded in my Nero EV because EVs were in high demand at the time. So I had a lease at that point, and they gave me like $4,600 of equity in the lease, which I had only been leasing for a year. So that was pretty crazy. So it ended up being a really good deal. But yeah, rolled over a ton of negative equity into this GT, but in a year I'll have none. So that's a plus. What else do you guys want to talk about? Make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments here. Is there anything you guys would like to see me do more videos on? I know I haven't been doing as many EV6 related videos. I put out a lot before, addressing like maintenance and settings and all kinds of stuff, but there's not as much to do. I may do a 1 year review on the EV6 GT, but I feel like I've hit on pretty much all the main things that you normally would hit on. Favorite charging network? I would say Electrify America is my favorite so far that I've used. It's been reliable. I know some people have had issues, although I haven't heard as many in recent times. But I know a couple of years ago, people were having a lot of issues with Electrify America in certain areas. But I've used it maybe a dozen times in various locations, and I've never had an issue. I've always had pretty fast charging, and it's worked fine for me. So I think Electrify America is good. There are some out there like EVgo. I'm not a fan of the charging networks that have charging stations while I mean, and like ChargePoint, where if it's there, so I guess it's okay. But the ones that charge at like 50 kilowatts or 62 and a half kilowatts, that's pitiful. Like that, yes, it's technically a DC fast charger, but you're going to be sitting there for like an hour to get a decent charge in a vehicle like an EV6 that you should only be sitting there for like 20 minutes. And that's not ideal. So, and if you have a vehicle that has a bigger battery pack, you're going to be sitting there for 2 hours or longer. So, one thing I got to say too, I don't know about you guys. I personally am a really big fan. I've been thinking about this a lot lately of the GM electric pickup trucks. So the Silverado EV and the Sierra EV. I know they have massive battery packs and they're not the most efficient, but like the Sierra EV, I think it looks great. It's got some nice tech, tons of space, and like 450 plus miles of range. Um, I think those are pretty nice. Secret settings or tricks with the EV6. Uh, um, I don't know if there's many. Maybe I'll go through and think through like all the different tips and tricks that I've found over the years. I feel like I've hit everything though. um, yeah, this UA Creeper 01 is, I would say, correct. It it's different hardware for the new infotainment system versus the old. The old system has much slower processing. I know when the CCNC platform came out, that was a big upgrade over the previous, which was they call it a standard 5W system. The processing power was significantly faster in the newer one. So there's not going to be a way, unfortunately, to upgrade what we have now to the new system. Theoretically, yeah, it could be coded for older hardware, and even though it could be, it wouldn't be. It would take a lot to optimize it for it, and I don't know how much RAM the older systems have, but I'm sure it would be slow and lag, and it would not be a good experience. Mm. Guys, today it was like 80 degrees. My house had AC running most of the day. Whew, times are changing. Just like a week ago, it was cold. What else we got? I didn't miss anything else up here, did I? Talking about the retrofit for the EV6 headlights. Yeah, Steve, it does seem like it'd be somewhat challenging. I know you have to splice some wires and do things like that. That's not an ideal thing to have to go through. 50 degrees. Yeah, it's depending on where you are, man. There's a lot of different temperature variation. I don't know. You're in Ohio. Okay. Yeah, I know in different places. I work with some people that are in St. Louis and Missouri, and there are some days where it'll be like hot here and they'll be freezing, or vice versa, and it's very interesting. Electric pickups are awesome. Yeah, I don't see them being too popular in Europe, but yeah, I think they're great. Like I feel like there's a lot of utility with them. You can use them as a pickup truck. The GM ones, because they have so much range, even when you tow with them, you still get at least 200 miles of range, which is substantial. I wouldn't say at least. It depends on what you're towing, how much it weighs, how aerodynamic it is, but you still get at least somewhat a decent range, even when you're towing. And then they also have the big frunk. There's a lot of positives with them. If the Sierra EV was a little bit cheaper and the back seats would recline, would potentially be a nice option to replace my wife's minivan. We're looking at replacing her Pacifica hybrid with something, and just trying to see the different options. What we're going to go with. See the small mini pickup EV. Um, is that the one? Are you talking about, Steve, the one that Kyle from Out of Spec posted about, where it's a very tiny little pickup, has no front end of anything really there. It's very, very tiny. If that's the one you're talking about, I've just seen pictures. I haven't really looked into it much. I think from what I saw, it had decent range, but um, it it was an interesting looking vehicle. I'll say that. I'll have to do more research on that. Yeah, I can pull that up real quick here while I'm talking with you guys and see if that's. I know Kyle had posted that on X at some point. Mhm. That posts a lot on here. Maybe somebody else posted it. Mhm. Man, how long ago was it? Even now I'm determined to find it. Here we go. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is what we're talking about. There we go. So this, and of course that's backwards, but that's the truck. 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, 350 miles of range, 500 horsepower, and it's in the footprint of a Mini Cooper. It's very interesting. I could see that being pretty popular, having something that small with that much functionality. Yeah, Tello. Yep, that's what it was. It's pretty cool. I like to see these different companies coming out with these things. Uh, it's interesting. You don't see ideas like that from legacy auto manufacturers, and I feel like you should because there's some people out there that would really want something like that, in my opinion. Let's see, it's almost 7:30. It has the Silverado trick. What's the Silverado trick you're referring to? Oh, gotcha. Where the back seats can like fold down and or fold up and open it up to have a longer bed. That's pretty cool. And again, that's so. I just said legacy automakers don't do unique things like that, but the Silverado EV and the Sierra EV have those unique things to get you a bigger bed and all that stuff. I think those are good options. And I know I posted and a lot of you guys thought it was funny, but I like the Hummer EV. That the SUV I think is really cool in a lot of ways. I wish it was 2,500 pounds lighter and maybe a little bit more efficient, but it's pretty neat SUV. And I really like, my wife likes it too because we have some friends that have Jeeps. We had a rental Jeep Gladiator, and where the roof above the doors can come off. That's really awesome. And the fact that the Hummer has that is pretty neat. I wish more vehicles had that because it gives you a really open air experience and it's very easy. I like it a lot. Yeah, the Hummer is very cool, very inefficient. And it is, yes, very expensive. Although, so it's expensive, but they are doing significant markdowns on them. So I think you can get a 2X right now. I think the MSRP is around 99 ish, and then most places have it for like 9 grand off, so it's like 90,000. And then when you lease, if you were to lease, you get some additional savings there. And again, a lot of manufacturers are artificially keeping the residuals up to keep lease costs down. So even though it's a 99,000 MSRP vehicle, you could still lease a Hummer EV for around what 1,200. I think it was around 1,200, 1,300 a month last I checked, which that's a significant amount. But when you're talking about $100,000 vehicle, that's actually fairly low. So I need to go to Greece one day. I need to become a world traveler. Got to get my passport. Yeah, I agree. EV6 GT is a great car. 100% not buying it at the end of the lease. Um, what you just said, you've seen a good amount that are in the high 30s with less than 10,000 miles. You're exactly right. When I bought my EV6 or when I leased my EV6 GT at the time, it's a 2023, and I got it in April of 2024. Um, and at that time, if I were to trade it in, my like Kelly Blue Book trade in value was like 36,000. It's crazy. It was brand new. It's crazy. I don't think any EV lease is worth buying out. I think I think it depends on the vehicle. If someone is getting a vehicle and they want to keep the vehicle for a long time, I recommend people look at all the incentives and what all goes into it, because a lot of times leasing, you'll get more savings. And then if you buy it at the end of the lease, it ends up being cheaper than if you bought it from the beginning. Um, and I know some people want to just hang on to cars for long periods and purchase them. Personally, I'm somebody that I change cars too often. My wife and I have learned that I need to just lease. That's, I think, going to be all I do for at least the foreseeable future. Yeah, exactly. You can buy another one for cheaper than the buyout price at the end of the lease. Now, I have heard of people, not with Kia necessarily, but I know some people have negotiated purchasing their vehicle at the end of a lease. So let's see, what time is it? It is 7:30 p.m. Man, look at you up 2:30 in the morning trying to win. Actually, you're in Greece, so unfortunately, the giveaway is only for the USA people. So you're just hanging out with us, having a chat. That's good. What else you guys want to talk about? It's 7:30. We can go a little bit longer on the Q&A, and then I can do the drawing. GV60 Magma. So I got to be honest, I think it looks cool, but something about the GV60 interior, I just wasn't the biggest fan of. I haven't looked at the Magma specific one, but I've been around the GV60. A few different people have had them, and it's nice. That's just something about it. I don't, I don't know. Not the biggest fan of the GV60. Now the GV80 I like a lot, and if they did a GV80 EV, that would be probably pretty high on my list of something to get. Maybe put like an Ionic 9 powertrain in that. That'd be pretty cool. Good. I'm glad you have the notification bell on. Nice. Devin already talked about this a little bit. I don't know. I've been thinking. I have just over a year left on my lease, and I've been looking at different options. Ultimately, it's going to depend on what's available at the time and how the market is, and incentives and pricing and lease costs and all that. Um, I definitely don't want to increase my monthly payment, but I want to make sure I get the most for my money. I know I said this earlier talking about the Model S Plaid and how much I like the Model S Plaid, but in general, with how far Tesla has come with FSD, seeing how it is in a year, I feel like, gosh, it's got to be almost like perfect by then because it's so good now. I I don't know. That could be nice for road trips. I hope. I wish. I've heard Tesla has been talking with manufacturers about licensing FSD, and I hope manufacturers start actually doing that, because if like those GM trucks I was talking about, if they had the FSD, that would be huge for them, because I mean, they have, like, Ford has Blue Cruise, GM has Super Cruise, like they have those things, but they only work on pre-mapped highways. Um, and that's it. But FSD works everywhere. So I hope that manufacturers start integrating it into their own systems. That would be perfect. That'd be great. I think that'd be good all around. But I don't know. I don't. We'll see where I'm at in a year. They do not have an electrified GV80 SUV. They have the electrified G80 sedan, which is nice, but not a GV80. The R2, yeah, the R2 is nice. I don't know how soon the R2 is going to come out. I know it's supposed to come out for 2026, but I don't know exactly when that's going to be. But it does. I mean, it looks awesome. I like the R2 a lot. Just my wife is not a fan of the styling of Rivians, unfortunately. CapCut. So I pay for CapCut Pro for my videos. I do not just do the free version. The free version comes with some stuff, but I've had Pro for a while, and I've been reading people getting frustrated with CapCut because they've been taking a lot of the free features and making them Pro. Hasn't impacted me since I have Pro, but I'm not sure how good it is now, the free version, unfortunately. But I think that's the way things are. CapCut is very powerful with what you can do with it. So I do like it, and I think it's worth the Pro membership. Neo from China battery swap capabilities. Um, so I have heard about Neo. I know they have some really nice EVs, and there's the battery swap options. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the viability of that. I think as EV technology continues to grow, which unfortunately it hasn't been growing in the US as much as it has overseas, but as it continues to grow, I think that range is going to be not an issue. Charging time is not going to be an issue. I'd say 5 years from now, it's going to be a non-issue for people. As for renting out the battery, I don't know about that. I think so. I think it was maybe a year or two ago. I saw people talking about. I think it might have been Elon talking about having your cars plugged in to the power grid, and essentially you would have the like during peak hours, the grid would pull power from your car, and then your car would charge overnight during off-peak hours, and you would sell essentially you'd sell the energy to the grid during peak times and get energy back during off-peak times. I think that at scale would be awesome because people could use that to help offset the cost of their EVs. It would help provide grid support, especially in places where they have issues. So, like I know Texas had an issue a while back. I know California has issues. I know there's a lot of places that have electrical grid stability issues. So I think at scale, if they can get something like that going, that'd be great. I think unfortunately we're a long way away from that though, because at that point, every single home that has an EV would have to have a vehicle to home setup capable of doing that transfer back and forth automatically, and that'd be a lot. That'd be a lot, but maybe one day. I think that'd be good. Only the GV70. Yep. Yeah, the GV70 electrified is nice. I like that. I've seen several videos on that. I think it looks good. I don't think they sacrificed a lot to switch it over to be an EV. It's got decent range and very luxurious. I like the GV70. I just I would prefer something at this point, something bigger. I think than a GV70. What else do we want to talk about? I feel like I should almost have music going in the background so it's not just boring. Do you think we should get to the giveaway? You guys got anything else? How was my day? My day was good. I worked. I don't know if you guys know I work full time. I don't just do technically Jeff stuff, although that would be nice. But I work from home. I'm an analyst, and yeah, it was a good day. Got a lot done. My wife wasn't feeling too good today, so she stayed home today, and she and my kids kind of hung out and watched TV and cuddled up in bed. That was cute. Then my wife had to go work this evening, which sucks for her, unfortunately. But hopefully she's feeling better now. What do you guys think? You want to talk about anything else? You want to get to the giveaway? The Comma 3. I like the Comma 3. I think it's called a Comma 3X now, right? I like it. The problem
is the comma 3 is not cheap, and they don't provide any review units. And I can't justify spending over $1,000 on that, unfortunately. Um, I would like to uh, have it, but I just can't. I can't justify it. They for review purposes they don't provide any to anybody to review it, but for review purposes they say you can buy it and then you have it for 30 days and then you just return it. And I mean, I guess I could do that, but then at that point I'd have to flip $1,000, and I don't want to risk something happening. And I have to have it, and I don't know, but it would be cool. I like the Comma 3. There's a lot of stuff that I'd want to research before actually getting it too, because I know there's a lot of different forks and different. There's like Sunny Pilot, I think, and Open Pilot, and all the different pilot things that you can install. And it's a little complicated, so I'd want to research it a lot before I got it if I were to do that. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll do that. What does an analyst do? So I am an analyst that does it more of like financial analysis. So I work for an insurance company and do analysis and projections with regards to premium and losses, and I do reporting like Power BI reporting and that type of thing. Giveaway time. Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and we can get the giveaway. Hey, don't hate on Texas Roadhouse, Devin. I love me some Texas Roadhouse rules. Lately, my family's been eating a lot of Mexican food, so um, I like I like Mexican food. We have a few different Mexican restaurants near me that we go to, but I do love Texas Roadhouse rolls. I have to be honest. Yeah, Sunny Pilot is good. I've heard good things about Sunny Pilot. All right, let's go ahead and we can get to the giveaway here. Again, thank you guys so much, those of you that participated in the giveaway. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. And thank you to 3D Mats USA for providing the floor mats. They've been great. I had the style of floor mats that I'm giving away that they're going to ship to you, whoever wins. That was the first floor mats that I tested for the EV6. I like them a lot. They fit perfectly, and I ran them in the car as my daily floor mats until they sent me the premium carpeted floor mats to review, which is now what I run in the car all the time. So I'm a big fan of their floor mats. It's good priced, and I definitely recommend them. If you guys haven't checked out their website, they have a lot of different variations of mats available, and they have cargo liners and that type of thing that you can check out. They have it for a lot of different vehicles, so definitely recommend them. Looking at these are just some screen grabs I got from the video when I did review them. You can see this is compared to my EV6 floor mats. How this is the front driver's side. You can see how much more coverage there is, and it just fits perfectly. Looks great. The back, again, more coverage, everything fits good. It's got a lip around it. So if something like if you have kids like I do, um, and a kid spills something, you don't have to worry about it going all over the place and soaking into the floor. There's a lip there and it just works good. So um, yeah, I definitely recommend 3D Mets USA. And you guys saw I ran the giveaway on my website. Hopefully you guys like the new website. I spent a decent amount of time over the past couple of months uh, redoing the website and setting it up in a more logical way and a better way to have the reviews and the different things posted. And hopefully you guys like that. But I went ahead and, like I said, ran the giveaway like I have done in the past. I'll go ahead and pull that up now. We can see because the giveaway ended at 7 o'clock. So we can see how many people entered or see how many entries we have here. So we've got 391 entries for the giveaway, and I'll go ahead and pick a winner. One thing I do want to say, because I did catch one person doing this, make sure if you guys are participating in the giveaway, don't try and get more entries than you should have. I saw one person had put their name in 3 times with 3 different email addresses and gave themselves like 15 entries. Um, that person forfeited basically all their entries, so that that's not allowed. So make sure you don't do that. Let's keep it fair. So anyway, all right. I have the tool on my website. There's an app or a plugin called Raffle Press that allows me to just go ahead and do pick winner, and it randomly chooses a winner. So I'll go ahead and pick a winner now, and we will see who won some free floor mats. All right. And the winner is Tony Holowinski. Tony Holowinski. You have won some free 3D Mats USA floor mats. I'm going to send you an email to the email address that you provided on the form. And I just need you to reply to that with the information that I put in there. Basically, I'll just need your address, phone number for shipping, and the vehicle, the year, make, model of the vehicle that you need the floor mats for. So congratulations. Thank you guys, like I said, so much for participating, and thank you for hanging out with me for the last 45 minutes here. And I appreciate it. Devin, the answer for the restaurant uh, question was don't hate on Texas Roadhouse because I love the rules. And I also said I love Mexican food, and there's a lot of Mexican restaurants I've been eating at. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Like I said, thank you for participating in the giveaway. Hopefully, I can do some more giveaways here soon. I'm right now in my basement where I have this newly painted wall, and I see all kinds of stuff around me that I could potentially give away that I've reviewed. Maybe I'll give away an EV charger or something else soon. So stay tuned. But like I said, thank you guys. Thank you so much for your support too. I really appreciate it. The channel and everything has been growing a lot lately, as I'm sure some of you guys have seen, and it is very much appreciated. And I would not be able to do what I do if it wasn't for you guys. So anyway, with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good evening.